Good morning and thank you for tuning in. This is Walter Mythguide reporting for GNN, the Gillador News Network. Our most pressing story is an announcement made a week ago as the Port Sarim Sailing Authority has announced that they will be granting sailing licenses on November 19th. Our producer, the one and only WEEV, wanted to make sure everyone is prepared. WEEV, how can adventurers make sure they are ready for sailing?
Thanks, Walter. Primarily, they're going to want to focus on construction so that they have the ability to upgrade their ships and the facilities on their ships. Since logs need to be refined into planks, adventurers are going to want to make sure they have plenty of coins on hand to turn their logs into said planks, be they regular through mahogany logs that they currently use for construction or the new logs that are found on the new islands. They're going to need to be refined into planks. Once your ship is made, you'll want to make sure you have a way of maintaining your ability to engage in naval combat. For that, try to have your smithing high enough to make your desired tier of cannonball. As a side note, the mold from Giant's Foundry would help quite a bit here. The thieves among you will also be able to steal from cannonball stalls for ammunition all the way up to rune. And since everyone will be the new owners of their sailing license, it is important that if you find yourself on an introductory quest on the high seas, that you read the dialogue. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for my Sailor's Ed video that we'll be producing. I hope those tips give you a general idea of what to expect. Truthfully, with how much adventurers are going to have opened up to them, there's no way we can cover everything in one of our segments. What we can cover in a segment, though, is how thankful I am for your viewership. Because of viewers such as yourself that like and subscribe to our broadcast, we can continuously cover the news each week. Thank you so much for stopping by and supporting us. If you want to support the show by tapping those buttons on your comm orb, we would greatly appreciate it. That's all I have, Walter. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, WEEV. I hope he has enough coins to buy all the planks he might need for the earlier tiers of boats and still have some left over then to spend on turning the new logs into planks for the higher tiers. If not, WEEV told me he plans on taking a slow route to maxing as he wants to primarily get his sailing high enough to be able to partake in whatever bottleneck that adventurers are willing to pay to avoid. For now, he is thinking that he is going to be slaying lava worms or frost dragons for those dragon plates, but his plan may have to include harvesting the new resources earlier on into the release of sailing licenses. As for the other stories, the few adventurers that play the RuneScape game on their comm orbs, this is colloquially referred to as RuneScape 3, yes, those players exist, they're asking for your support in the removal of Treasure Hunter, the FOMO-encouraging gambling microtransaction available in-game. By voting for the removal of Treasure Hunter, players are also voting to add a toggle since the cosmetics in the game have become, to put it nicely, over the top. It is worth mentioning that with Treasure Hunter removed, the developers of the comm orb game have stated that bonus XP will still be available for purchase alongside the cosmetics that they indicated will be a little less over the top in the future. Because of this, many are saying that RuneScape 3 will still lack a sense of integrity, but as microtransactions have been such a large part of the game over the past 2 decades, over half of the player base responded in polls that they prefer having a way to progress faster. One might say that if the developers really wanted to bring integrity to their game, they would nix all abilities to pay for progression, but we try not to editorialize here at GNN, and we see that the developers are taking the baby steps that they are able to at this moment. This is most likely the most measured response onlookers could take, as the integrity of the game being ignored for the last 20 years is most likely undoable. So it really doesn't matter to have integrity changes going into the future anyways. In any case, folks, since a lot of adventurers in Gillador today played that game on their comm orb decades ago, we are sure you will have found this update, at the very least, intriguing. As a final note, we are recording this on October 31st, Halloween Day. So, if you haven't stopped by Farmer Fred's house in Lumbridge, be sure to do so before the judge's visit so that you can help him decorate. We covered his request a couple weeks ago, but with Gridmaster going on, it seems a majority of adventurers have not made their way out to him yet. With the world seemingly waiting for the release of sailing licenses, we find ourselves without any other stories and yet another short broadcast. Thank you so much for your viewership. This has been Walter Mythguide for GNN, signing off.